Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video here on Middle Earth Gaming, and we have another How I Paint video. And today's video, as you see, is about Dale, and it's all about how I paint my Dale color scheme. I'm going to be using it on a captain here, but of course you can use this to basically do whatever you need to do for any kind of Dale warrior. All the techniques and the colors will be the same. And just so you guys can know what we're actually going to be going into, this is the finished scheme. As you can see, there's a nice variety of colors over here. You can use it for any other model that you wish as well. But I'm quite weird. I do like to paint things, for most of my models, I like to paint separate sections to fulfillment. But with this guy, because there is a little bit of detail, the Dale models do have lovely detail on them. I'm going to be base coating all of it, I'll be washing all of it, and then I'll be working up the highlights separately after that. So I'm going to base coat everything, then going to wash everything at the same time, and then we'll highlight up after that. So the first step is to, we're going to be starting on the skin. And the first step is to do a 50-50 mix of Arcadian Flesh Tone and Bugman's Glow. And very simple here. You just put that all over the skin. And as you guys can see, there's not much on this model because I paint the gloves in. They're not skin. But obviously you can do because they are your models, you can do whatever you need to do. So just all over the skin, nice even layer, just like that. Alright, and now with that mix all applied, we're going to take Rhinox hide and base coat all the leather areas, all the brown areas that you want, all the wood, anything that you want to be like a brown leather type color. I'm just going to base coat that with Rhinox hide. So that means all the clothing, the back of the shield, the gloves, the greaves, everything like that, the boots, the legs, everything like that. Just a nice layer of Rhinox hide. And now that the Rhinox hide is dry, I also did the mustache and the hair with the Rhinox hide as well. We're now going to paint the cape or the cloak, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to do a nice base coat of corn red. Nice even coat all over it. You might need to do 2 thin layers of this. As long as it's nice and even, nice solid base coat. And now with that corn red applied, nice and dry, I did 2 thin coats of there, guys. Now we're going to do another layer over that, and it's going to brighten up the tone before we give it a nice wash. And all it is 3 parts corn red to 1 part Evil Sun Scarlet. And again, we're just going to lay out over all the red, exactly as it was done before. And because we've got that corn red base coat down, it should go down pretty easy. It should go down in 1 coat. But if you see it does have a few tide marks, a few streaks, always better doing 2 thin coats than 1 thick coat. Okay, and now with that applied, we're going to be going into the cloth, and there's only a few parts on this model, and we're going to be using Celestia Grey for this. So nice thin down, just a little bit both on the knees here, as well as on the sleeves. Nothing too crazy here, guys. And now with that Celestia Grey applied, we're now going to paint all the fur trim all around the model with Corvus Black. So on his hat, on his greaves, there's quite a lot on this model. His greaves just there. On his boots, there's some there as well. Also be painting the belt. just there. And also the little dangly bits, whatever you call them, kind of tassels coming down off his belt there as well. And now with that Corvus black applied, we're going to do one more base coat before we start doing some washes, and that is the silvers. So we're going to paint all our silver details with lead belcher. So that includes the sword, all the helmet, obviously trying to miss that fur area we just painted. Also the entire back of the shield, we're going to paint in lead belcher as well. And the little tassel, not really a tassel, but a little brooch on the top here. So anything you guys really want to be silver, we're doing that now. Alright guys, and now with that lead belcher applied, we're going to go and as you guys can see, I also did the chainmail here, just on the tunic here, and on the back of the helmet as well. So there we go. So next up, what we're going to be doing is we're going to start the washes process. And I know you're thinking that some of the areas haven't been washed yet, but that's all right, we're going to get to them later. So we're going to start off with the tunic, all the brown leathers and the woods and all that, so the gloves and all that. We're going to start with a 50-50 mix of Agrax Earthshade and Lamian Medium. We're just going to do that a nice even coat over all the brown areas. Just like that. And now with that wash applied, we're going to do a second wash, this time with Nuln Oil, and this is going to be all over the silvers. So pretty simple here. Just a nice even layer, as always, of Nuln Oil all over the silvers. Nothing too crazy here. So once we apply that Nuln Oil, the next wash is going to be a 50-50 mix of Drakenhof Nightshade and Lamian Medium. And as you guys can probably guess, this is going to go all over the trousers and also on the shirt here as well. Bring a nice blue hue into the model, like that. Trying not to get any pooling, guys. If it does, just wipe off the excess. Just make sure it's nice. Just want a bit of a tint on that clothing. And now with that blue wash all applied, we're now going to do a 50-50 mix of Reikland Flesh Shade and Lamian Medium, and use this for just the face because that's where all the skin is. So just all over the skin. Again, nothing too crazy here, guys. Just make sure it doesn't pull too much. And now with that wash applied, we're going to do one final wash before we start doing highlights, and that is the reds. So we're going to wash all the reds, all the cloak, with a 50-50 mix of Caribbean Crimson and Lamian Medium. And again, just like before, guys, we're just going to do a nice even coat all over the red. Making sure not to have anything in the recesses. Keep it nice and thin. If you do get any pooling, just pull it off like that. Just wipe your brush, get it off. You don't want any pooling in this area whatsoever. And now with all those washes applied, we're now going to start highlighting this guy up. And as you guys can see, I've already done the eyes, and it's okay if you do a bit sloppy like I have here. We can tidy it up in this stage here. So what I've done is done a dot of pale witch flesh and a dot of rhinox hide. And now what we can do now is go and tidy that up by using the highlighting stage. So now we're going to highlight the face with the same mixture as we base coated it with. So 50-50 mix of Cadian flesh tone and Bugman's Bow. And we're just going to go use this all over the skin and just tidy up the face while we're at it. Making sure to leave that wash in the deep recesses. Just slowly tidy up the face while we're at it. And with that layer now dry, we're going to use pure Cadian flesh tone and just start highlighting up the facial features like the bridge of the nose, the cheekbones, the bottom lip, the brow, things like that. And now we're going to do a final highlight, and this is going to be pure Kislev flesh. And this can be really optional, guys, but all you have to do is just do tiny dots on the bridge of the nose, on the cheekbone, just to kind of highlight it up a little bit more. Just on areas where you think it'll make it look a little nicer. And now with the skin highlighter, we're going to continue on with the face, and we're going to continue on with the hair. And now we're going to layer all over the hair with a 50-50 mix of Rhinox hide and Scrag brown. And we're going to just paint this as a layer all over the hair. And after that layer for the hair, I also did a 50-50 mix of Agrax Earthshade and Lamian Medium, and just did a little shade all over the hair as well. And now we're going to go back to that 50-50 mix of Rhinox Hide and Scrag Brown and just relayer over the hair, just leaving little bits of the Agrax Earthshade in the recesses. And now we're going to do a final highlight, and this is going to do, we're going to incorporate a little bit of Deathclaw Brown into that 50-50 mix of Rhinox Hide and Scrag Brown. We're going to put about an extra 25% of Deathclaw Brown in, and we're just going to do very fine touches of Deathclaw Brown right on the edges. Pick out those strands of hair. And now with that hair done, we're going to move on to the metallic details. So we're going to start off with the silvers, and all we have to really do here is just give a light dry brush on all the silvers with Iron Breaker. So pretty damn simple here, guys. Just a nice easy dry brush over all the metallics. And now with all those silver details are pretty much done, we're going to start working on the gold details. So now we're going to start with a base coat of Runelord Brass. And this is going to go over all the gold details. So the hilt of the sword, just here. We also have the little thing on the belt here. The trim on the helmet. Well, not really trim, but the decorative parts of the helmet. And anywhere you guys want. There's some trim on the boot as well. Some gold trim. Course on the scabbard as well. Anywhere really you guys want some gold details. And now with that base coat of Runelord Brass, we're now going to wash all of that with Agrax Earthshade. So pretty simple here, just a nice even layer all over that gold detail with Agrax. Once that Agrax Earthshade is dry, we're now going to use a 50-50 mix of Runelord Brass and Canoptic Alloy. And we're just going to do this, and we're going to highlight all the gold. With that highlight applied, we're now going to do a light wash of Nuln Oil mixed with some Lamia Medium, about a 50-50 mix, and this is going to go over all the silvers and all the gold, just to bring that hue down just a little bit, quite slightly. Don't need a heavy wash here, just to bring that hue down just a touch. Again, this is over all the silvers and over all the gold. And now with all the metals and gold done, we're now going to work on the leather armor. And first of all, we're now going to do a layer over the armor, over the cloth and all that. We're going to do this with Rhinox hide. So the same base coat, we're just going to do it all over again, just making sure that we miss the recesses. The deepest recesses. Also got the scabbard here, the gloves, just pick those fingers out. We also have the boots here, again missing the deep recesses, the greaves on the boots. We also have little greave just here, so just fill in the center here. Leaving the gold trim. Just anything like that you want it to be this color. And now with that Rhinox hide dry, we're now going to start highlighting up the leather by using a 50-50 mix of Rhinox hide and Dibble Brown. And we're just going to start highlighting up the edges with this mix. And now with that fully dry, we're going to start on the final highlight, and that is pure Dibble Brown. And this is just going to do the edges on all the leather, like that. All the gloves, all the previous ones that we've done before, on the greaves of the boots. And we've also been doing the inlay of the shield here as well. So just taking your time. If you need to go back over with some Rune Fang Seal or what was it? Ironbreaker, you can do that as well. And do a little bit of a wash with some thinned down Nuln Oil. Just get that back to the way it was before. Now with all that leather done, we're going to work on probably one of the biggest parts of the model, and that is the red, of course, the red cloak. And now we're going to start off with a layer of 75% corn red and 25% of Evil Sun Scarlet. So a 3-to-1 mix, and we're going to do this as a layer all over the cloak. Making sure to keep it out of the deepest recesses. Just do this all over the red. With that red layer dry, we're now going to do a 50-50 mix of Corn Red and Evil Sun Scarlet. And we're going to make the highlights a bit tighter, a bit lighter. Again, just all over the red. Again, making the highlights a little bit tighter than before. And we're starting to highlight this up now instead of layering it on. Alright, and with that first highlight applied, we're going to do a second highlight, and this is going to be a same with the 50-50 mix of Corn Red and Evil Sun Scarlet, and then we're going to add a little bit of Troll Slayer Orange into it as well. And again, like with the last highlight, we're going to make it tighter, thinner. Now, with that highlight dry, we're going to do a final highlight, and we're going to add a little bit more Troll Slayer Orange into that mix, and we're going to do a final edge highlight all over the cloak. With the cape all done, as you guys can see, got a nice look of red on there. Now there's actually not quite a few things to go now. So we're going to start on with the fur. So we're going to start off with a layer of Corvus Black all over the fur. As well as the lapels on his belt and the belt itself. With that Corvus Black layer applied, we're now going to use a 50-50 mix of Corvus Black and Storm Vermin fur and just start highlighting all the fur, as well as the belt and the lapels going down as well. We're now going to do a final highlight on the fur, and that is with pure Storm Vermin fur. And this, you just got to do just the faintest of highlights, just picking out the ruffs, again on the belt and the little tufts coming down the belt here as well. Actually got a nice thin down Storm Vermin fur. And with that red cape now done, there's literally only one thing to do now, guys, and that is the cloak trim. So we're going to start off with a base coat, and the base coat is going to be Steel Legion Drab. And obviously, just take your time going around all the cloak trim. You might need 2 thin coats on this, guys, so just to be aware of that. You don't want to go too thick of paint here, guys, because you will lose that detail. So if you do need 2 thin coats, I would recommend doing that. And with that Steel Legion Drab dry, you can now see that there's I did end up doing 2 thin coats, guys, so just be aware of that. We're now going to be using a wash of Seraphim Sepia, and that's just going to go all over the cloak trim. give it a nice bit of depth. The highlighting coming up. So with that Seraphim sepia now applied, you guys can see we've washed that all over the cloak trim. Now we're going to start layering it up, and we're going to start off with a layer of XV88, and we're just going to layer that all over the trim, but leaving the deepest recesses with that wash. Just take your time. Use the side of your brush if you need to. So with that XV88 now applied, what we're now going to do is use some Baylor Brown and again go over the cloak trim, this time keeping our highlights tighter and neater as we go along. We start highlighting it up. Again, just taking your time. Thin down paint. Just like that. So with that Baylor Brown now dry, we can now start on highlighting for up, and we're going to start by using Xandri Dust. And I mean, we have been highlighting up with the last few colors, but we're just going to keep these ones tighter and a lot finer as we go around the rim of the cloak. And we've only got one more color to go after this, and then he will be done. And finally, we're going to be using some Ushabi Bone to do a very fine highlight. This will be the final highlight on the cloak trim. And what we're going to do is just simple dot highlights where the light would be hitting the cloak. So here we have finished the Warrior of Dale, or a Captain of Dale, but of course you can use this for any type of Dale warriors, or the Knights of Dale. You can use the same techniques for any other Dale unit. If you guys would like to see more of these, do let me know in the comment section below what you guys would also like to see. What would you guys like me to paint in the future? Do let me know in the comment section below. But if you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys so very much for watching, and as always, happy gaming.